welcome you, dear viewers, on Noursat TV and Tele Lumiere. On the occasion of the holy month of Ramadan and the sacred Lenten fast, the Noursat office in the Holy Lands of Jordan and Palestine, represented by its director, Dr. Basim Al-Sam'an, and the entire team, extends heartfelt congratulations to His Majesty King Abdullah II, the Jordanian people, and the entire Arab world, both Muslims and Christians. We pray that this season brings goodness, faith, and blessing to all, that peace prevails in Gaza and the Holy Land. We begin with the following headlines. Pope Francis, I feel everyone's support and pray for peace, as war seems increasingly senseless. His Majesty the King outlines key points ahead of the Arab Summit to end the war in Gaza. After returning from his medical trip, Bishop Christophorus leads the Vespers and Forgiveness prayer in Amman. From the headlines to the details. The Vatican Press Office published a written statement from His Holiness Pope Francis in which he expressed gratitude to the doctors for the care he is receiving and thanked the faithful for their love and support. In his message, the Holy Father issued a plea for peace in the Middle East, Ukraine, Sudan, and other conflict-ridden regions. He follows with deep pain and great concern the ongoing wars that persist relentlessly in these countries. His Holiness added, Jesus invites us to reflect on two of the five senses, sight and taste. Regarding sight, he asks us to train our eyes to observe the world attentively and to judge others with love. As for taste, Jesus reminds us that every tree is known by its fruit, and the words that come from a person are like the fruits ripening on their lips. His Majesty King Abdullah II outlined 4 key points during the recent extraordinary Arab Summit held in Cairo. These points include complete rejection of displacement and reaffirmation of support for a clear plan to rebuild Gaza within a defined time frame, backing the Palestinian National Authority's reform efforts and developing a clear, actionable vision for Gaza's governance, linking it to the West Bank while ensuring security in the Palestinian territories. Reaffirming that the two-state solution is the only path to a just and comprehensive peace, guaranteeing the establishment of an independent Palestinian state on its national land with East Jerusalem as its capital. Strongly opposing any attempts to displace Palestinians from the West Bank and Gaza, annex lands, or obstruct humanitarian aid access to Gaza. His Majesty emphasized the importance of maintaining a sustainable ceasefire in Gaza, ensuring the implementation of all its phases and preventing further escalation in the West Bank. On Monday, Eastern churches marked the beginning of the Great Lenten Fast, a spiritual journey leading up to Easter Sunday on April 20th. This sacred season coincides with the beginning of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, representing a unique sense of interfaith, harmony, and social cohesion between Christians and Muslims. During this time, hearts unite in worship and devotion, as believers experience an atmosphere of faith and spirituality. The Great Lenten Fast is one of the most significant spiritual periods in Christianity, during which the faithful reflect on the suffering and sacrifices of Jesus Christ. It is a time of prayer, contemplation, and fasting, where believers commit to a plant-based diet as a form of asceticism and closeness to God. On this occasion, His Beatitude Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzabella, Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, addressed the faithful of the Patriarchate with a Lenten message, urging them to begin their fasting journey by listening to the good news that fills this sacred season with hope. He stated, Lent as a sacrament of reconciliation grants us renewed gift of the Spirit, allowing us to listen to the word of grace and forgiveness. He added, Easter, which we will celebrate after 40 days of fasting, is not merely a remembrance of a past event, but a living commemoration of God's grace, which reconciles us with Him through the Christ's cross, making us a new creation. His Beatitude concluded, as Christians, we are called to reconcile with one another, to promote a culture of reconciliation through our words, action, and way of life, and to have the courage to live in hope and bear the fruits of faith. His Grace Bishop Christophorus, Metropolitan of Jordan for the Greek Orthodox Church, led the Vespers and Forgiveness prayer at the Cathedral of the Presentation of Christ in the Temple in Sofia area of Amman. The service was attended by several clergy members and a large congregation of faithful. This marks the first prayer service presided over by Bishop Christophorus following his return from a medical treatment trip to Greece. In his address, Bishop Christophorus expressed his deep longing for his parishioners and thanked God for being among them once again. He acknowledged that he had not expected his treatment journey to last so long, but throughout the period he always felt God's closeness and care for both himself and his congregation. Under the patronage of the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate of Antioch and all the East, a symposium titled The Role of Media in Democratic Transition was held at the Holy Cross Church Hall in Damascus. The event featured speakers from Turkey and Syria and highlighted the importance of media in building democracy, promoting freedom of expression, combating misinformation, and raising political and social awareness. Discussions emphasized the need for independent and responsible media that contributes to supporting democratic transformation and fostering a culture of dialogue and openness. The symposium also stressed the importance of media literacy in preventing the spread of misleading information and resisting media manipulation. A meeting between Catholic and Shiite representatives concluded in Rome, focusing on the interfaith dialogue and the role of religion in promoting peace. The gathering was opened by Cardinal Kovacad, Prefect of the Vatican Dicastery of Interreligious Dialogue, who emphasized the need to leave a meaningful legacy for future generations. He highlighted the responsibility of religious leaders, particularly Catholic and Shiite figures, in establishing the foundations of peace in today's world, which is in dire need of stability and reconciliation. Shiite speaker Jawad al-Khawi addressed the humanitarian dimension of religions, stressing the essential role of dialogue in combating ignorance and poverty, which are the key factors in promoting human rights. He stated, "We cannot live without dialogue," recalling that the spiritual tradition of the Hawza in Najaf is deeply rooted in respect for all religions and religious authorities. In Egypt, numerous Catholic Church leaders, clergy members, and legal experts participated in the Community Dialogue Committee discussing the personal status law for Egyptian Christians. Justice Adnan al-Fanjari welcomed the Catholic delegation at the Egyptian Ministry of Justice, expressing his wishes for Pope Francis' speedy recovery. He also thanked the Catholic Church in Egypt for its cooperation in drafting the law. In response, the Catholic delegation expressed their gratitude to the Minister of Justice and all legislative committees involved in the law's preparation. Cardinal Louis Raphael Sacco, Patriarch of the Chaldeans in Iraq and the world, announced that the upcoming opening of your Chaldean Church is a symbol of openness. The inauguration is set to take place after Easter and Ramadan. Cardinal Sacco expressed his hope that your church would become a pilgrimage site for Iraqis and believers worldwide, both Christians and Muslims. He emphasized that your church will stand as a landmark and pilgrimage center, similar to the baptism site on the Jordan River or the Abrahamic House in the UAE. He stated, "We need such places to unite humanity as they represent a meeting point for all religions." The Jesus the King Parish in Al-Masdar held a special celebratory Mass, during which the Latin Patriarchate Scouts and Guides renewed their scouting promise and launched their 2025 motto, "Rejoicing in Hope." The Mass was led by Father Firas Arida, the spiritual director of the Scouts and Guides of the Latin Archdiocese in Jordan, alongside Father Sliman Shobash, the parish priest. The Jesus the King Youth in Al-Masdar organized its third annual charity iftar held in support of its pastoral activities and services. The event took place with the blessing of Patriarch Emeritus Fuad Atwal and was attended by members of the parliament, clergy, nuns, and General Secretariat of the Latin Youth in Jordan, prominent political and media figures, as well as scouts, church fraternities, and groups from various Amman parishes. Hania Qaqish, the newly elected president of the Young Women's Christian Association, the YMCA in Jordan, affirmed that the organization's primary focus moving forward will be supporting women. Currently, YMCA Jordan oversees 4 branches in Amman, Madaba, Fhais, Al-Husn, working to support, educate, and empower women across the country. Qaqish, who previously led the Amman branch, acknowledged the challenges facing the association, particularly financial difficulties. The YMCA Jordan General Assembly recently concluded its meeting, during which a new administrative board was elected. And with that, dear viewers, we have come to the end of our news. Before we conclude, here's a recap of the highlights covered herein. Pope Francis, I feel everyone's support and pray for peace as war seems increasingly senseless. His Majesty the King outlines key points ahead of the Arab Summit to end the war in Gaza. After returning from his medical trip, Bishop Christophorus leads the Vespers and Forgiveness prayer in Amman. For more information, please visit our website, noursatjo.org. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you again soon. Have a good day.